Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.
And happy Thursday. I know that's not a holiday, but I'm making it a holiday. Happy Thursday, everyone. We're back with another episode of Successfully Chaotic, and I have my girl Stacey Toy in the house today. She's going to be dropping some amazing information today. I'm excited. We were talking. I was like, you know what? Just stop. Let me go live. Because what ends up happening is I get excited in the back room and we get way off, and then I'm getting on late and all, you know how that goes. So actually, you know what, Stacey, I'll have you dive in and tell everybody just number one who you are. And I know we kind of gave a little bit of a hint on what we're going to be talking about today, which is NFTs. And a lot of people have heard that term. They've heard EFTs and NFTs and Bitcoin and crypto and all the things, which can be so confusing. I know when I first heard it, I was like, what are all these letters? I'm so
still confused.
Yeah, right.
I'm in business.
So, but yeah, I'll let you kind of dive in and kind of share a little bit about, who you are and what you're doing.
Okay, cool. So I do a little bit of everything. I'm a film producer. I have some stuff out now on all of the streaming services. I'm also an executive producer of Cedric the Entertainer's show, FanRoom Live, where I host as well. So we have celebrities that come on and people, get the chance to talk on Zoom. And it's like a celebrity meet and greet, but it also is recorded and it is streaming live in like almost 200 countries, on a bunch of different streaming platforms as well. So FanRoom Live, and anybody can get tickets for that show. If you go to fanroomlive.com, we're in the process of booking some like A-list guests. So it'll be exciting. And so if you want a ticket and come and join us, even if you just want to watch it and not necessarily talk to any of the celebrities, again, fanroomlive.com. But I'm also the COO of NFT Drop, which is a new company that we started. Me and my two business partners, Gil Laredo and Rod Thompson. If you Google Rod, he's an NFT king, as they described him in the LA Weekly Times. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. So he's the tech guy, and Gil is the business guy. He's the CEO, and then my CTO is Rod. And so we have some exciting, we have clients that have been released. It's been released into the public, from Death Row. I mean, everything that you can imagine, from, WWE wrestlers to cult movie classic stars and producers and even agencies and stuff like that are our clients. We're in the process of doing some stuff with crypto jewelry, with the celebrities and all that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, I mean, in my hands, I am, and then, there's the CBD industry, which I also have my hands in, and, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going. When COVID happened, the film industry stopped, and first of all, it was crypto. Luckily, I had gotten into it through a friend a few years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago. And so the crypto is actually what helped me to pay my bills during COVID when I wasn't working in film.
Oh, yeah.
So I had the time. So I'm like, let's start learning more about this, even though I had been learning about it. But then, diving more into all of these different aspects, because I had no idea when I was going to start working again in film. And, I'm a single widowed mom, and I have 2 boys. They're 17 and 15. So I have my responsibilities too. And so it's like, what am I going to do next? And, I'm just not the 9-to-5er anymore. Like I'm on all the timer. Production company. My business partner and I have is 25/8 Studios. It's in Scranton, Pennsylvania. But it's 25/8 because 24/7 just isn't enough time, is what we say. So, we're working at 2 a.m. at, 5 a.m. at, 8 o'clock at night and 12 o'clock, during the day. And so it's just crazy. So what an introduction, I guess. I don't even know how to break it down, but I do have my hands in a little bit of everything, and people are like, how can you do it? And it's essentially just delegating, I'm passing the ball. Like, okay, you give me the problem. All right, now let me fix it and hand it off to whoever needs to fix it. Or, so the majority of the work that I do is, I'm essentially a producer. Like I'm just, people come to me with the issues, and then I, have delegate and deal with the problems. So,
well, and I think that's what you have to do with any business. But I mean, especially things that are kind of fast moving and fast paced, which it seems like you remind me a lot of me, because you like stuff that's like you probably get bored. You probably, when you did work 9 to 5, you probably got so bored, right?
Oh, I did. I was
too.
actually learning about other stuff and thinking about, what was next for me, because it's just like I didn't feel right, but I knew that when I was young enough, and at the end of the day, I don't care how many degrees, like I went to Oxford, I went to Harvard, I have master's degrees and all this kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter, at the end of the day, like I just want to be happy. And my biggest thing is my parents taught me that, but they also were the example. They said, you can't just like say things, you have to be the example for your children. And, I lost my husband 10 years ago. So, I've been the mom and the dad for a decade now. And so my example, if I'm going to tell my kids, work hard and, go towards your passions and, focus on the things that are important. I have to do it too. So
absolutely. Well, and I think it's a big thing. Like you mentioned, several things that you do. And I think it's funny, a lot of people that are like us that have all these different things, because I'm a lot like you, that I have a bunch of different businesses. My hands are in a lot of pots. And, for the longest time, people thought that was crazy. Like, why do you do so many things? Like, why do you do so many things? But now that's a funny thing that's come from COVID. People are now like, oh, that's why you do so many things, right?
Yes, because it's like you've got to.
Hi, Christina.
Hi.
Yeah, you have to. Well, and that's the funny thing. Like, I always thought this was odd that, you would go see a financial advisor and they'd say, well, we need to diversify your portfolio. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But then everybody thought it was weird to diversify your income. But I'm like, why is it not the same? Like, it actually is more important to diversify your income. And we've seen that in COVID, because certain markets completely dropped and other ones just soared during COVID. And on a smaller scale, that's always happened, right? It's always been this fluctuation in the market. And we know that as far as investing goes, but somehow we like separated and didn't realize that it also was happening on the front end as well.
Correct. Absolutely.
So so how did you get involved in NFT? Because like I said, when I started kind of dabbling in this stuff, it's really funny because I actually knew zero. I'm kind of one of those people. I am a research junkie, but only if I get interested in it. So I wasn't quite interested. I was just curious. I was like, yeah, I'll put $100 up here and see what happens. I'm gonna put out. I had no idea. I know I read something on the company. I was like, that sounds cool. Cool. I'm just gonna do it.
Yes.
But I had no idea what EFT, NFT, crypto, Bitcoin. My brain was like blah, 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 on all these things. And there's even more things now. Like I can't even keep up. How did you get involved in that world?
So, one of my best friends, who actually he committed suicide during the whole COVID thing, because it was depression and a lot of stuff happening and going on and not being able to do a lot of stuff. He started teaching me about this because him and I were very good friends. I don't know if you ever heard about the Kids for Cash. I know they did a documentary on it. My cousin actually was the director and he did this documentary. It's on Netflix and a bunch of streaming services. And it was, I believe, up for an Academy Award in the documentary series, but it was all based off of these judges who were getting kickbacks for putting kids into juvenile detention centers here in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, right? Either way, it's only 20 minutes from where I'm at right now and where I live. But he was one of those kids. So, he got into a fight when he was like 15 at school. He just stuck up for himself because the kid was being a bully, and he was in front of the judge for less than 1 minute and got sent away for like 2.5 years. His father ended up committing suicide because of the whole, ordeal and not being able to help him. So anyways, he got out, and he got a little bit of the money. I think it was only like 15 grand or something, because, it all came out and the judges went to prison and all that other happy stuff. But he took that money and invested it into Bitcoin and the crypto world. Now this, this was probably about 10 years ago or so. And before he was 30, he ended up making, he was just under $1 million at that point in time. But he is a very simple person, didn't like money, because it always messed things up or made, people come around him because they thought he had like a ton of money, and like just the fakeness of all of it. But he also was very intrigued by all of it, and he was very, very good at what he did with investing. So I started off and I'm like, hey, how about I give you like $300? Because I figured if I invested that and he could make it grow the way that I had seen him make his stuff grow, then we could take that money and start making more films. And again, this is during COVID. So it's like, I'm trying to, take a little bit. And if we can make stuff from that, like we'll go and we can make the documentaries and stuff to help people and, the things that we like to do. And we'll dedicate that money towards, doing good for people and telling their stories. So, that was the whole point. And I remember, I gave him $300, and in 2 weeks it was at like $2,500. He was just so good at that. So I was automatically intrigued, because now I could make money so that we can provide work and, also get back to filming, because that's what, when people in this industry, this is what we love. This is being on set, even if it's the 18-hour days, like that's the stuff that keep, we all bitch and complain about it, but essentially it keeps our blood flowing, and that's what we love, and we just need to have that. So it's like trying to provide a future for all of this kind of stuff, especially during COVID. But then, so I started talking to my friends especially in the music industry, because I had started reading about how they were using NFTs in the music industry. And this was like, maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. And just going through and talking to everybody that I can that has had their hand in the crypto world in any way, shape, or form. So when I was introduced to Rod, our chief technical officer, and one of the partners, he had already been dabbling in that whole world since like 2009. And so him and I were just like talk. And then Gil, both Rod and I, over the last couple of years of working together, have been telling him about NFTs and the crypto world and blockchain and blah, blah, blah. So Gil, being the very good businessman that he is, he's like, come on, we're starting a company then, because we had all the aspects. And that's the thing that I think that makes us different than a lot of the companies that are doing NFTs, especially in the Hollywood aspect, like we are with our clients, all being somebody, in the entertainment world, is that I'm, very well known for my marketing and public relations. I mean, I've worked for every major network over the last, 20 years almost. I'll be 39. It's like getting close to 40. It's scaring the crap out of me.
Well, I'm in my 40s, so
this is the little bit that I have left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I do get it. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, like having a background in marketing PR, which I also do as well, it gives you, I guess, a front row seat on seeing how people are absorbing things. And, I think, like, for me, that's how I've ended up hopping into different industries I've hopped in, is because I have a passion or interest in something, and I see that there's a want and a need for it. And then, I will come in to try to figure out, okay, what part do I have to play? And like you said, delegate, bring in people. That's a huge, huge thing, especially for people that are like us, because there's only 24 hours in a day. I have 2 hands. Yes. I have a bunch of kids, right? Yeah.
And you've got to be a real decent human being, because you want to have these connections and people to reach out to and have them know that they can trust you and you can trust them, with their work and whatever. So networking is number one, no
Absolutely.
matter what, before anything, because none of this would have come together as well as it has and as well as it did in such a short period of time if we didn't have all these aspects. I mean, Rod he has worked in the entertainment industry, and he's the one who brought the people to death row, because he used to work, for death row in the 90s and 2000s. And I mean, he worked for Paramount and all the other big studios, the same that as I have. And so, but that's the thing, is our clients are people that we've known and worked with for like 2 decades, even longer, and they're coming to us because they trust us. I mean, I know Chris the Glove Taylor from Death Row. He had been searching for about 2 years to find an NFT company. And after one conversation with us and knowing Rod for so many years and seeing that he's been, good to him, they've been friends and stayed friends. I think all of that speaks volumes, because that's the only way. You can't buy that kind of stuff, because a lot of these people can go to anybody. Like I said, our client, from Death Row spent almost 2 years trying to find just the right people to sign with, and he signed with us. And so, it's like, I'm very proud of that aspect of things, that we do. My business partners and I all have the connections, but it's because we earned it and we kept it.
Absolutely.
And, because networking is not just what can I get from people. Like, you have to genuinely want to be a friend. Tell people Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday. Like, it's not that difficult to do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that. And it's simple, but it means the world. And so there are people that, I have reached out to, just Happy Birthday, how you doing? I was thinking about you for years. And then now I call them on the phone. What do you need? Anything right now? Like, because it's not that I've ever really wanted anything. It's just, you could be a decent human being, but you never know when you're going to need the janitor or the CEO, but you're going to need both. That's
well, and I think that's a good point, because I think a lot of people, like, networking is something that I talk about a lot, because it has built everything that I do now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally every single thing. And even things that I haven't quite started doing, but I have people come to me and pitch things all the time, like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? Because I've built the relationships, and I think that's a big thing to talk about, because building those relationships, like you said, it is not a what can I get from them. It's not, doing it just because you're going to sit back like this, because, people can smell that, right? They can smell that from a mile.
Everybody in this industry does it. They're all actors. They're all actresses. So it's like, I'm going to sell them and not be a car salesman, but I'm going to sell them. It's like, just be a decent human being. It's like, don't be an asshole is my number one rule. You think it's simple. You think. But it's that blows my mind. It's like, there's no reason. There's no reason to be. But then you get these people, that have grown up and went to high school and were not popular and whatever. And then in their 40s, all of a sudden they get a little bit of, something. And then they're just like treating people like terrible. And it's like, doesn't, you let people go for a little while. It's like, okay, enjoy it. But, but at some point it's like, no, like, all that kind of stuff doesn't matter. But being a jerk, it certainly matters. Like, just don't. It's very simple. Other people are going to do it to you, of course, but be the better person so you could be the example for them to see, okay, it's possible to not be an asshole. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And I think that, even if some people try it kind of the wrong way and it works for a minute, it will come back to bite you in the ass. It will,
when
because
you need it the most.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it will, and it's kind of one of those things. It's like, oh, that's karma, because you shouldn't have been an a-hole. So I think that's a big thing to talk about, because any opportunity that you get given, it's typically because you knew somebody or they knew somebody. And, that is a huge thing to think about when you're out, just living your life and doing your everyday things. Because like you mentioned earlier, you never know that person that you're speaking to that's waiting tables, you don't know what else they're doing. You don't know what else, who they know. You don't know nothing. And, you should always have this in your mind, that you're just going to be a good person no matter what, whether people are looking or whether they're not. Because I've known some people that in front of everybody, they were amazing. But
Oh
behind
yeah.
closed doors, it was
Exactly.
like, I don't want to be in that same room, and so, it's one of those things that you need to be genuinely a good person all the time.
Mhm.
And so I think that's very important for us to talk about, because, without you having the network you did, without people trusting you the way that they did, you wouldn't be in, you'd be able to have this opportunity now to be able to help all these other people, right?
Correct. Absolutely. And I always try to think about people, if an opportunity comes, it's like, this person, this is what they always wanted to do. So like, I'll go to them and say, hey, here's your chance. Let's work together. I'll try and help you out. If you need, extra help or guidance, we can get it for you. But here's the
Absolutely.
opportunity. I mean, some people turn me down, and that's okay too, because, it's not up to me. It's just I'll bring it to the door, and it's your choice if you want to walk through or not. But I
Mhm.
do try to think about, other people, but all of these things, like, I grew up, we weren't like dirt poor, but we didn't have extra money at the end of the month. My dad got hurt. We grew up on a farm though. And my parents just worked in a factory actually making TV tubes. And now I'm
Yeah,
actually making TV. But I
that's
remember my
cool.
dad said to me, I mean, like our town just made it on the map like 6 years ago or something because the road just got paved. But it's like back there. So nobody like came and gave it to me. I had to leave and go and work all around the world because that was and go to school too around the world. And that was how I got there because somebody says, okay, you have the ability to go and do whatever you want, but you have no money to do it. So figure out a different way to do it. It's like scholarships, grants, busting my ass waiting tables and being a hostess and washing dishes. And, you do whatever you need to.
It's resourcefulness, right?
Yes. So it's like, that's why I'm constantly always trying to think of, the cool ways and loopholes and, all that kind of stuff, because that's how, if when you first come in, like it doesn't work out, like sometimes maybe you got to put your snowplow on, and
Yeah.
pave the driveway a little bit and figure out just a different way or go around the back. I mean, it's just, I'm always trying to think of all these different and unique ways. So that's why the NFT industry really is so cool because I mean, the other thing is we have like this bet too to see who can come up with the dumbest idea because it's like the dumbest ideas right now. I just read the other day they have toilet paper and cemeteries in the metaverse. And I'm like, okay, I knew Walmart and all these other
Yeah.
people were
Yeah.
getting into it. But like when you're dead, like why are you spending like thousands of dollars on a non-existent, cemetery? But toilet paper, I'm like, who's buying NFT toilet paper? Like this is nuts. But I was a little jealous, I guess, because we had come up with the idea of tissues in
Yeah.
the metaverse, and I'm like, damn it, somebody beat me to
Somebody's
it.
ready to go the other.
Yes. But I mean, literally, it is insane and crazy. But I have to constantly like be on top of things and learning as much as I possibly can because every day there's so much that's
Oh
changing
yeah.
and being added. But I'm grateful for both my business partners because, like I said, they do a lot of different research on their own about, like Gail being the businessman, like he's more into the investing side. And so watching the stock market, and then we have those conversations on the phone with the three of us, or Rod will tell us, about like with Gala going into the grayscale, and becoming, more prominent in the crypto world, especially with Snoop coming out saying with Gala music and being able
Yeah.
to make money on the nodes and all that. So learning that from Rod, and then I come and I start telling them that, stuff I know. And so collaboratively, it is like you learn so much because we're all constantly on the lookout, for our different areas of different things. So I'm just so grateful. Like the teamwork, character, attitude, all that stuff is so important. And so to see all of us come together, to see all of us still really liking each other, not fighting at all, respecting everything, because there's no reason not to respect, like we have no egos and any of that kind of stuff because there's no reason to. I mean, like we all literally respect and trust each other. And I'm just grateful. It's like the best environment I've been around in a very long time. So
Absolutely. Well, and I think that, you know, being able to do something that's literally changing every day, especially for people like us that would like, we like to do new things. I get bored real easy. I love new projects because I like to build it. And then when it's done and it's working, I'm like, well, that's cool, but what can I do now? Because I don't want to be the one that does it every day. That's just not my jam, right? So with something that seems like it's so high paced, like the crypto world, obviously it changes by the second. I mean, I'm not involved in other than I do have, some investments on a bunch of different platforms. And I dabble. I'm a dabbler.
Yes.
And I still can't even keep
I'm
up.
a dabbler too. I'm a dabbler too.
It's just there's so much. I love listening to, there's some bunch of podcasts out there that talk about it. There's also there's a couple of books. I actually read one. I can't remember who it was by. It was on the metaverse though, and it's just like kind of like mind blowing, right? And it seems so crazy, like sci-fi, but really we're kind of living it a little bit right now, right? We're like, you're in Pennsylvania, I'm in Ohio, and it's like we're just in the, we're in the online world right now. So as crazy and sci-fi and futuristic that it sounds, like we're already doing it, we're already kind of on, so it's just kind of one of those things that it's still kind of mind blowing, right? Because I mean, I grew up back in the day where we still had like the rotary phones, right?
Yes, I do. Me too. No, but you're absolutely right. They're doing concerts on the metaverse now. Like I said, Walmart. If you look, just Google Walmart metaverse, and like they have, the examples of what it's going to look like to buy wine and to talk to the person, and then I mean it's insane. People are already going to school on the metaverse. I mean, even like the guy who bought the house next door to Snoop Dogg on the Sandbox metaverse platform paid $450,000 for that. So the real estate aspect is also something that, we have our hand in different ways. They're more fun ways, like, geared toward the entertainment realm. But it's honestly, it's mind blowing. I have NFT for Dummies. I'm a huge believer in For Dummies books. So I went to Oxford, Harvard, have a master's degree. Still For Dummies books. One day I want to write one. So I always keep notes when I'm doing new things, just in case the opportunity was to come around one day. I know I could out and get it, but it's like, I want to see because it could be this, but I love For Dummies books. And then just even like the metaverse and real estate and art, there's a lot of, For Dummy-esque, because they only have NFT for Dummies. But there's a lot of so much information, and it's easy to break down. And once you start just even getting a little piece from this or a little piece from that, like it all starts to weave together. But it's the future. It's not going away. Like if Apple, Amazon, Walmart, all these Nike, Adidas, Coach, everything have been putting millions of dollars into making this stuff. None of it's going away.
No, it's not going away. It's definitely here to stay. I mean, it's kind of funny that, like I said, that like to think about this back when I was a kid would have been like, insane, right? It was like, well,
they actually wrote about the metaverse in a book, and it came out in 92 or 1994. But there's a lot of articles on it, and I think it was called The Metaverse. And so like all of this stuff has been,
look that up.
You figure Bluetooth, right? That was patented in 1997. We didn't even have like the phones. Nobody had phones yet. They were just starting to come.
I was talking to my kids about that one day because I have my 9-year-old keeps telling me, he's like, he wants a phone. He doesn't have one yet. And I keep going back and forth whether to give him one. But my older kids, because my oldest daughter, she's 23. She didn't get one until she was 13. But the world has changed so much, even in this. So my 9-year-old's like, well, can I have a phone? My friends have a phone. I'm like, I don't know, think about it. My oldest daughter is like, you would have never let me. And I'm like, I was like, but you got to understand that I didn't get a phone until I was like 26.
Yeah. I know. I was in college when I got, because I mean, other than that, I'd steal my parents because they had like the old Ericsson and the old Nokia ones that everybody had before we got the Nextels and all that other jazz. I do miss the Nextels though, because the bleep bleep.
Yeah,
miss
there were
that.
some good ones. There were some good ones, and some of those lasted forever.
They did but you took care of things because you couldn't get more. Like this was the big, like my pager. I had a pager.
Oh,
that was
like
my 16th birthday, and I had the one where people, if people called and they did the star 143, it would like
Yeah.
say I love you on it, or
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it had voicemail. I mean, I
Yep.
paid like $9 a month for that, but I mean,
Yeah, I was the same way, and I'd pull up to the world phone. I don't know if y'all had world phones. Put my
oh
quarter in,
yeah.
I could call them. Be like, "Is you
Mhm.
paging me?" You know, there was nothing like that feeling. You felt so cool when you got your hold on, I got a page. You know, like
Yeah, I know. I gotta, and then you're like, where am I gonna call people back?
yeah, exactly. So it's
Yes.
funny how the world obviously keeps growing and changing, and I'm here for the
Mhm.
ride. I'm here for it. I think it's pretty
Yes.
cool to kind of be involved and see it from this side. And I can't imagine from your end of actually like really being a part of it. So I wanted to ask you, like you said that you work with clients. Who is your client? I know you mentioned some celebs and music artists. Like if somebody's
Yes.
out there right now, like I am interested, like who are your people?
Honestly, we're taking on the majority of the people who come to talk to us. I know right now we have about a 2 to 3 month waiting list
Mm-hmm.
as of right now for new clients and stuff. The one that I can talk about right now is Chris the Glove Taylor from Death Row. We also have Rob West, who is also former Death Row producer. But as far as the other stuff, I can't
Yeah,
say it
you can't
just
say.
yet, but it will be coming. Like some of the stuff that we're doing will be coming out in probably the next 2 to 3 weeks. And like,
Exciting.
I just cannot wait because I like secrets are very hard for me when I'm so excited. And like, I'm
Oh,
just like, God, I can't wait to tell you because I just want to
yeah.
tell the world. And I just like, oh my gosh.
It's that
But we
PR
have
side, right?
yes, it's like I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't say it. I want to so bad, but I'll come back on. Once they are all out there.
So are you taking on new clients now? So if, I mean, and is there a certain, again, I hate to say like a level, but is there a certain um, pre-qualification they need to be onboarded onto that company,
No,
or is it just anybody?
it's just anybody that has something that if they have a project idea or art or something like that, and you want to, I don't care if you're a celebrity or you're not.
Yeah.
If you're good at what you do, and me and my business partners feel like it's a good move, then we're gonna do it.
That's
We
awesome.
don't care. But like I said, just you got to just take a chance sometimes. But if you have something that's good, contact us. I know we're on Instagram at NFT Drop LLC. But you can reach out to me personally. I'm at Stacey Toy, STACEYTOY. Don't forget the E, because otherwise it goes, to other cousins of mine, and I don't see it for 6 to 8 months, if
I'm
at
like,
all.
oh, I think this is for you. I think this is
Yes.
for you.
So, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, you know, and like I said, NFT Drop LLC. We have Facebook, Instagram. We'll be releasing, a website soon, and all of our links to, OpenSea, which we're going to be dropping ones with like Chris the Glove Taylor. We're finishing up with the artist right now, so that we can then pick a date. So it'd be, as soon as we have this artwork done, it'll be within like probably 2 weeks that we're gonna have the first drop with his NFT. We also have an NFT coming up, which I'm excited about that I can talk about. It's the American Sniper grenade.
Oh
Like, I don't know
yeah.
if you remember that scene with like the
Yep.
boy and then they get
Yep.
shot and then the mom goes, well, we have we know the company that made it for the film, and we know that nobody's been does replicas or duplicates, because he's the only one in the world, the owner, that has the actual tool to make it, but they make it inert, so that it's fake. But they've agreed to come on board, and so we took some pictures. We're going to be selling the pictures for NFT, like as NFT art for
Awesome.
metaverse, or just to invest. And then if you buy the bundle, which would be all the pictures, and we're only selling, like a few hundred of these, like maybe up to 500, I think, or 250. I forget what the exact amount is, and you get an actual like replica, which again, these
Awesome.
can't be reproduced by anybody in the world, and they haven't been. So it's just like that extra little fun, exciting piece. And then some of these will come with the ability to print one time, like the pictures. And some, will get unlimited times to print. Again, each project is different. So, it's a process. And so let's, if you want to follow me, I it could be all a train wreck. Who knows?
Yeah.
But let's watch and see. We're all doing this together,
Absolutely. Well, that's with anything, great reward. The potential of great reward takes a great risk. That's just how it is.
Yes,
speaking, you mentioned kind of investors and stuff. Do you all have it out where people can invest now, or is that something that you're going to be kind of launching out for investors?
That's the best part about NFTs is, there really isn't a lot, I should say, of like startup costs, because it's just the artist who, if they need a graphic artist to do whatever, that's fine. Getting the actual NFT together is just, getting the pictures done, or, however it needs to be done. And then it just becomes a digital image. And so the only, you don't have overhead, even with these grenades from American Sniper, he doesn't have to produce them until they're already bought. So,
Gotcha.
money will be there to pay for it. Again, even with the crypto jeweler, a lot of the stuff is jewelry made as NFTs to wear in the metaverse, but some of them will have at some points, maybe 5 people. If you want to pay $100,000, then the jeweler will make the real thing in real life. And you can have it in both the metaverse and the real world, or I'm not saying.
I'd say we'll start seeing that. I say we will start seeing that at award shows. Are there? So I don't even know.
Yep. In fact, the one guy is called Crypto Jeweler. He's on Instagram and
he's already printing them. I'm gonna have to go look it up. So you're blowing my mind. Like I said, I'm a dabbler, but I don't even know this part. I just what? They're actually making jewelry already?
I mean, well, figure too, one of the people that we're working with, he's got Russell Buffalino's bedroom suit from The Irishman and I Heard You Paint Houses movie. So we're getting that photo taken, and then people could buy the NFT and then upgrade it in their house to have that addition to put the real estate value up. That's the whole point of doing that stuff too. So yeah, it's a lot. I mean, people are like, can you break stuff down for me? What's an NFT and what's this and what's this? Can you do it in 5 seconds? And I'm like, no, it took me 5 years just to get to this point. And I still don't know what I'm talking about with a lot of stuff, because I have to learn a little bit at a time. I mean, I know my, all the basic stuff.
Your part. Yeah. But there's just so much to it. It's funny that the more that I learn about the metaverse, I keep going back to my kids, and they play Roblox, they play Minecraft. I keep going back to that. I mean, that's technically already that's what they do, because like you just said, you can upgrade and get the bed. They're constantly it's really funny. I didn't even realize it for a hot minute because I hadn't checked my credit card statements, but both my boys, my 9-year-old, my 12-year-old, were charging hundreds of dollars.
Oh yeah, that happened to me a couple of times.
Every month. And I usually am pretty good about going over my stuff, but it was I don't know, 90 days. It was over the 90 days, I remember, because I couldn't even do anything about it. But they have been charging hundreds of dollars on there for Minecraft or Roblox, because they didn't realize it was real money, because it was letting them do it. And so they had thousands of dollars by the time this is said and done with, where they had been building out stuff. And I'm like, well, you all ought to be pretty popular on these games now at this point, because I don't think anybody is
you better be.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. It just reminds me, because that's what they were doing. They were upgrading these houses, these rooms. I'm buying this bed, this whatever. And that's what it reminds me of when you're saying that this is the grown-up version, right? This is the grown-up version of.
Yes, it is. And then they just add schools and concerts in there.
And you can actually do some real things. Yeah. It's so funny. It's just, it seems so surreal in some ways, and in other ways, it's okay, it actually makes a lot of sense once you kind of break it down and start thinking about it.
Yes, no, it does. But at the same time, you're just real, what is real life doing right now?
Right? That makes me think of the Matrix, right? Matrix, does anybody else go to the Matrix? Because I go to the Matrix. I'm like, wait, are we already in it? Are we already in? Are we really living in the metaverse?
Pretty much.
It's so funny. So anyway, no, I think this has been super awesome. Where you mentioned a couple of places that people can find you. Where's the best place for them to watch as these new things roll out? Is that your NFT drop?
Yeah, well, NFT Drop will have a lot of the stuff. Again, I will too. So if you want to
Okay.
follow me, then you'll get also
Okay.
the name and all that stuff for NFT Drop. But I'm very active on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I have a Twitter, and I'm trying to get back to it. So I'm I got away from it, and
Oh, it's easy to
then
do,
with
right?
everything now, it's like you
It's
need it.
so
You need
easy.
it. So
You do. So,
so
well, I'll make sure that all the links are in the show notes when this airs on all the podcasts. And if you're watching this live right now, just make sure that you check back because we'll be putting the links to all of Stacey's stuff that she's got going on,
yes.
in on the page as well. So, because you're a lot like me. We can't even sit and like name all these things out. You just need to follow
Yeah.
Stacey. That way you can just keep
Yes.
up with
Just
all the
follow.
things. Awesome. Well, it's been
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much for being on here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned CBD, and I know I want to have you on talking specifically about that.
Yes,
People who follow me
absolutely.
know that I'm very much involved in that world, and I'm not a dabbler. I know lots about the CBD world, so I'm excited to have you back on to talk specifically about that sometime.
Absolutely. And if you want to too, if you go to I'll text you the link, but it's nanosolpro.com. That's the CBD company that I've been working and doing some stuff with. We currently have a promo code going on for 20% off of everything on the website if you use FanRoom20, because it's going on with FanRoom Live, since they're one of the sponsors. But I highly recommend the Delta 8 gummies because they're just so much fun. But everything on there too, the other CBD products, they're 0% THC. They're, not even just the little bit. They have 0%. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love it. And I use all the stuff because I was just putting it on my neck, like the salve, because my neck, I slept on it wrong and I can't like turn to the right totally. But
Yeah.
I can already my neck's already, work, and I'm so grateful for it. So it's like I use all of this stuff myself. The face oil is the same. We do stuff with like the Real Housewives of Miami's Leah Black. So that face oil's, the one that she uses, and it's the Rejuvenate one. And I use that every day too, like, on my chest. And it's like, I love it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I highly recommend all that stuff. But again, in FanRoom 20 and go to Nanosol Pro, it's NanosolPro.com, and everything on there is 20% off with that
All
promo
right.
code. So woo.
Awesome. I love it. And again, thank you so much for coming on today. And Jeff wanted to pop in and say, go Pennsylvania. He also is from Pennsylvania.
Woo! Yay, Jeff.
So yeah, it's awesome. And then also, I do want to mention real quick, you are going to be part of Indie Pods, the Women's Indie Pods United summit that's coming up at the end of this month for Women's History Month. It's going to be on March the 26th. And if you haven't got your tickets on Hopping, you need to go get those. Jeff, if you're still on here, maybe you can pop the link in the comments. That way people can go there and get your tickets, because it's going to be a blast. It's going to be all of us women who are doing some amazing things. We're going to be talking and podcasting and having just a great time. And Stacey Toy's going to be part of that as well. And I'm super
That's how I
excited.
met you. So here we
Exactly,
are.
right?
Networking.
Networking, right? Yeah.
We're the example. That's right.
We always goes that. But yeah, we will be back again next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Successfully Chaotic. And watch for this show to drop on all of your favorite podcast platforms on this coming Tuesday. We'll have all the links for all of the things Stacey Toy in the comments. So thank you so much, Stacey, for being on today. And thanks to all my listeners. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.